do it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Banya. We've got Dana, of course, and our guest Mimi today.
Yes, Timoree, yeah.
Pretty excited.
And Timoree, your last name is it Branson? Is that right?
It is Branson, yes.
Okay,
Branson.
cool. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I like Mimi. That's your family name for all your kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then I got a new license plate that says BJJ Mimi.
That's rad.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to be calling you Mimi for the rest of my life. If
That's
all
cool.
right.
Yep.
Sweet. All right, well, we're at 180 degrees today, so we're starting this one off nice and hot. Mimi's fresh off of training here with Russ, right?
That's right.
What's Russ's last name?
Files.
Okay. So he's a brown belt or black belt?
Brown belt.
Brown belt. They're mostly out of Proving Ground, right?
He's out
Him
of
and
Proving
Drew,
Ground.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They live out on the west side.
Yep.
Cool. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've been doing privates with Drew, or not Drew, with Russ for a while, or?
Yes. So when I started at Grey Wolf, so we kind of have to back up a little bit, but yes, when I started at Grey Wolf, I started doing privates with Russ. Probably I started in March, and I want to say like probably June, July, and he helped me get ready for my first competition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's back up to, let's give everybody your age, rank, and weight. Let's go.
So I'm 52, and I'm under 152 with gi.
So is that Masters 5?
Masters 5,
All
yes.
right.
Yes.
Blue
Awesome.
belt?
No, I'm a 4-stripe white belt.
Oh.
Soon. Very soon.
Well,
you'll be blue belt.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In my
I
mind,
mean-
you're there.
Well, and one of the big things about my journey is I cannot compare myself to someone that's 20, 25, 30.
Right.
Yep.
Everybody's journey, everybody's health journey is different. So yeah, it's...
You're putting in a lot of time, a lot of extra stuff, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you're very, very close to there, if not already.
Maybe. I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I know with time I'll be a blue belt, but it doesn't have to be
Right.
it'll happen if I stay on the mats, is what I know.
rush, yeah.
What puts you in the pocket? Like, how many days a week do you like to be on the mats?
I like to, I love 4 days, but 3
I'm
for
right
sure.
there with you.
3 for sure. Sometimes, but when I get ready for a competition, it's 5 days.
Right. Yeah,
It's
grind a
5
little more.
days.
That's including privates?
Yeah, but if I do meet with Russ on a Tuesday, and I'm training, I'll stay for Drew's class or the no-gi class. Yeah,
Nice.
because
Do you have a preference, gi, no gi?
I prefer gi.
Yeah. me too.
No-gi's a little, it's, not my fave, but I know it's very important to learn.
Yeah, I think it's super important to do both for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, with the no gi, you're doing a lot of learning how to control people, because you don't have the gi to grab onto.
Right.
So it's a little bit more of that, and then
Yeah.
once you're in the gi, that's obviously a crazy new thing.
Yeah.
I forgot to charge, and let me give our guy Sean at Babin's Wealth Management a plug here. He got us a brand new thermometer that lights up. And I ran it to death already, and it's dying on us. I didn't charge it, but it's still, the thermometer part still works. It just lights up, so looks good. So thank you, Sean. Appreciate the better thermometer finally.
The third one.
Yeah, the third iteration.
time's the charm.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I find, you're just talking about gi and no-gi. My gi game gets better when I train no-gi.
Okay.
For some reason or another, it's just a different game, right?
Yeah.
So you pick up on different things, and
Yeah, it feels different to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's way different. Yeah.
It feels different physically, but also emotionally, it feels different. And that's kind of how I got into jiu-jitsu. A therapist recommended it.
Oh, wow.
So, I started the summer I turned 50, which was in 2022, and at a place by my house.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I was 191 pounds or 92 pounds, and it was really hard to move. Really, really hard to move. And Paul, I have to give a shout out to Paul McFarling. He was my very first training partner out there.
Nice.
So, I did their like 6-week challenge and could barely do it. I could only do like, I probably went maybe 9-10 times. Couldn't do it. And I kind of hurt myself and then but during that time that I wasn't on the mats, I really was like, I have got to, if I want to do this, I can't do it fat. Can't.
Right.
And I have to lose weight. So, but I wasn't sure if I was going to go back. And then in January of 23, Paul's daughter, Lauren, was in a tournament and I went to go see her and I saw her and she was in mount on this little kid, a little boy. And I was like, you're going back. Like she just, watching her sparked the fire again in me. And I was like, this is amazing. And so then I went back and unfortunately or fortunately at the place I was at, it wasn't a good fit. And, his words were, you're holding students back.
Oh, wow.
You can only come in a couple times a week.
They said that to you?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's pretty gnarly.
So again, it wasn't a good fit. And so, my husband was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, F that. Like, I just got online and Mario D'Artenzio, shout out to Mario.
Oh, nice.
Mario's a great dude.
Mario and I have known each other since we were 12.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. So do you know Josh then? He grew up around the same neighborhood as Mario. They talk all the time about like high school stuff and so.
Yeah. No, I don't know Josh, but so I knew that Mario was going to Grey Wolf. And so I messaged John and then I had a whole list of like questions to ask John because it was really important to me to be in an environment where it felt welcomed, being a new person. But also my biggest thing was how does a gym or you as a person deal with a trauma response? And so and he said what I needed to hear, and it has rung true. Like if if a person has a trauma response, pause, stay with them if they want to be with them, or not. And so that's like where the no-gi kind of comes in for me, like, and why so I've had a few times when I first started having, like, I would just freeze and just tears would come down my face. And, Russ was like, you're okay. You're safe. And that really helped me. But also what I think is so cool about jiu-jitsu, whether no-gi or gi, is like, you are in charge of yourself. You have full control over the time that you're on the mat, during the roll. Like at any time, if you are uncomfortable, I'm not talking about submission. I'm talking about uncomfortable, you're scared, whatever, you can tap and it's over.
Right.
Like that has helped me. Like jiu-jitsu has been the best therapy than all the therapy I've had over my life. Like, I love it so much.
Yeah. No, I mean,
you're forced to work through that.
Yeah.
It live a lot of times. And I think about when something hit for me when I started to realize, I mean, we're talking 6 months, maybe a year in, you're like, okay, I'm not dying here. I just got to survive this a little bit. I'm okay. My training partner's taking care of me.
Yeah.
And it's working through that yourself, and everybody has their own means of doing so.
Yeah.
But it builds strength just from working through that, like you're saying.
Yeah. And doing the uncomfortable, but also for me, it's like trusting myself, trusting my body, and trusting another partner as well. But and also what John teaches us about breathing, like it's just helped me so much because I'm not so much in fight or flight.
Right.
I'm not. I'm able to like rest and reset just from breathing.
Yeah, that breathing thing, man, that was one thing I've had multiple people ask Coach Cabay
Mm-hmm.
when I was around there, and he said, or they ask him, what's the one thing I can work on for jiu-jitsu? And it always comes back to breathing. He always says that, work on your breathing.
Yeah.
Controlling your breathing, deep breaths, not over, panicking and over breathing. And it rings completely true.
Yeah. And I even John said, try to run with your mouth closed, do warm-ups with your mouth closed. And so I really...
And breathe through your nose.
Only breathing. Yeah, breathe through your nose. Only breathing. And I do that. I'm like, yay, So, but when we do the karaoke, then I can't. I get out of breath.
Well, man, good on you for not just throwing in the towel when that other gym told you to not, come in as much. Like that, a lot of people probably would have just given up at that point too. I think Mario had a similar, I don't want to speak for him, but a similar experience at a gym he was at. I just don't think it worked out for him, and then he found Grey Wolf, and it's just like, I haven't been to a bunch of the other gyms, but I've said this 1,000 times, the culture we have is just...
It's stellar.
I can't imagine a better spot,
I know, it's just stellar. And... because I know what it's like to be in a not so great gym.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I remember I was like, you guys don't know how great you have it here. This is so great.
Right.
This is so awesome. And they're like, what? I'm like, you have no idea.
Yeah, for people that just stumbled into Grey Wolf, right?
Yeah. I'm like, this place is magic, and I'm so appreciative to John, but as well Paul Nava, because if it wasn't for Paul Nava, then we wouldn't have Grey Wolf, and I just think Aries in general is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a good organization. It starts from the top, like you said with Paul, and Kishino and Samir started the organization. That trickles down to all the coaches, and it's very un-jiu-jitsu, to have a coach at a gym tell you you're holding other students back. That's not a student thing. And this is something that Vinny talks about, actually, is if, the students aren't succeeding or something's going on, they're not liking it, he takes that on himself. It's I'm not doing something right.
Right.
And he'll echo this as well.
Yeah.
It's the coach, it's their job to find a way to make it work for the students.
Yeah.
As long as they're willing to do it, which obviously you were willing to do it. And really
but I still am like, what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Was it just kind of like a meathead type gym, or?
Yeah, I mean, it just, it just wasn't a good fit. I wish him well, but I'm grateful that he didn't want me there because I found Grey Wolf, and
and we're grateful as well.
Thanks. Yeah, and jiu-jitsu is hard. It's really hard.
Absolutely. I mean, it amazes me. I've been grappling my whole life, so it's one thing for me to go in there, but it amazes me to see people like Josh and Mario and people your age that just start at a later point in their life that haven't done stuff like this and do it and fall in love with it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're an inspiration for all of us, and everybody you that does this.
Thanks.
It really is. It's great.
Well, I think it's just really, it's very important to me. My family is super supportive, but I like who I am because of jiu-jitsu. I'm not so afraid anymore. Don't get me wrong, I still get afraid sometimes, but I was afraid to travel. I was afraid to be anywhere by myself. I was afraid to drive.
Right.
So, now I'm not.
5 years ago, would you do a podcast in a sauna with two guys?
No. This is actually pretty. I'm like, you're doing so good. You're doing so good. I'm telling myself.
And by the way, we can go jump in the cold plunge. I'm usually the first to cave, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm the worst.
Well, you're super sweating.
I sauna all the time. I do. I sweat a lot, and I sauna a lot. But I'm literally, of all the guests, I'm the first one out in the cold plunge usually.
Well, and the more you talk, the more you forget about it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
that
is about
happens.
like staying calm, even in here, you know, because it is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in 200 degree heat. Can I do it? Like you can
Yeah.
just like take a deep breath, you know, and move forward. So,
Get through it.
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
So tell us about you do some privates. You
Yeah.
like to do nogi, gi, 3 to 4 times a week. What's your competition been like? How you've done 2, 3?
I've done 3.
Okay.
So, my first one was right before I turned 51. It was really important for me to do one while I was 50. And I went down in in age. And that was super scary, but I was super proud of myself for doing it. And
Was it one age class or how many?
that one was just one.
Okay.
So I think the girls were like 40 and I was 50. And then my second one was super fun because I could see like my personal growth in jiu-jitsu. It was like, how many months later? August, September, October. Like 4 months later to see my personal growth. And my goal was like, just don't be submitted. And I wasn't submitted and I had a
Nice.
great time. And
Heck yeah.
it was just super fun. This last one, which was in December, it was a great learning experience for myself because I didn't jump off the mats with the joy that I had previously. And so I really had to take a look at myself and see, like, because that's all me, right? That's not anybody else.
Well, can I say something too real quick?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's okay. Like you don't always have to like be having a blast out there. Like those
Yeah.
moments they're okay to have. Like if you go to a tournament, like not every tournament's going to go the way you want.
Yeah.
You know, you set little goals for yourself like you did.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you're doing that. Cuz that's actually a really good thing to do going to tournaments. I think a lot of people just like have a general goal like I want to win, you know,
Right,
type of
yeah.
a thing, but for you to set little ones like I don't want to get submitted or whatever, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
you're gonna go to tournaments and things aren't gonna go your way,
they
and
really
and
went bad.
you can be mad and you can be pissed off and sad and
I was just shocked. I was just so shocked and like, I guess I was a little sad, but like I'd never been thrown that hard. I got thrown real hard.
oh yeah, a toss, yeah.
A judo toss, yeah. And that was my first match, and then my second match. So my second match was the girl was 36 years old.
Yeah.
So and I'm 52. That's quite a age
Right.
difference.
Oh yeah.
So and when she pulled guard and I went into her guard, I remember thinking, "Oh, she is so strong. I can like the wow, just don't get hurt." Like that's it was just like
Right.
and then she won within like with a belly down armbar, and I got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got hurt, but it's better. My elbow's
Yeah.
better now. But it was like,
No, that stuff sucks, and like it in the moment, you can't. It's hard to talk yourself through it, but like it's part of it. But I mean, believe me, like more tournaments than not, I've been pissed off with my performance and
I
really
was just,
bummed about it. But it's just,
and I was like, what? I didn't like this. I didn't like that part of myself.
but I mean, you just gotta lean into all that though and accept it. And then once you do, like
I don't know if I want to though.
you can though, and like
Yeah.
you're already moving. You've moved past it. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna grow from it, and
Right.
like you've seen that you didn't like
Yeah.
it, and you'll do
Yeah.
things differently. But like dwelling on it's
No,
not.
but I couldn't figure out why. And so I was like, why do I feel like not good? And my husband, I was talking to him, and he's like, well, you had really high expectations of yourself.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, okay. So let's not do that again. And the other thing too is I'm not going to compete against people like that are way, way younger than me.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I went from Masters 5 to Master 2 on that one.
It's a big jump. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to get hurt, I mean that's not worth it for sure in itself. But yeah.
I mean, I can echo a similar experience where I had the wrong mindset going into it already, and I knew that I was gonna pull out of the tournament, and I'm glad I didn't, but I just had the wrong mindset. I was like torn up after, just completely like upset with myself. And it's made me realize I need to make sure I'm having fun with jiu-jitsu,
Right, yeah.
with the tournaments. I want to,
Yeah.
no matter what, it should be fun and enjoyable.
It should be fun because we spend a lot of time doing it.
Yeah. And,
Which-
I mean, we're not going out there. I mean, potentially could win world championships or worlds. But, you know, it's not like this is a career. You know, we've got
Right,
other things. We got
yeah.
to make sure we can function for the rest of our lives. So,
Yeah. It's so funny.
Gotta
Like,
get back to work on Monday.
that's right.
that's right. Tomorrow night.
Yep.
We gotta go
Back to
tomorrow
the gym.
night
Yep.
to the gym.
6 a.m. class tomorrow.
I know. I can't wait till I can do that. But the 10-year-old at home, I live too far
yeah.
away.
Where do
Yeah.
you live?
At like 110th Street in Shea.
Oh, okay.
So there's no like, I just take Cactus all the way, but like there's no fast way, you know?
right.
And so, yeah.
Could be worse. You could live deep on the west side.
West Side!
I have a hatred of the west side.
you?
I do. I just don't like it out there. I don't know. I mean,
And you
it's just-
didn't grow up in Phoenix.
No.
Okay, because like if you grew up out here, we'd be like, no West Side, no way.
Right. Well, I do for my job. I do logistics. So like I've been everywhere.
Okay.
I've been in the back doors of all these restaurants and
Right.
places, and it's just I just don't enjoy the West Side. Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody that lives out there.
I think the best thing about the West Side is Proving Ground. I will say that
Yeah.
is
No,
that
that's
is
a
a
great
special place.
Yeah, that is good.
Yep.
Yeah, they're rad for sure.
They're super rad.
Yeah, Vinny dragged me out there one time, and
Oh, did
we
he?
had a good
Okay,
time.
cool.
Yeah, they're cool people. So. Nothing but love for the people that have to survive out there, but I'm sorry for you.
And you mentioned Paul. You've been friends with Paul. Did he come to Grey Wolf after you had found it? Because you came
Yes.
through Mario, and then Paul through you, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. So it was funny because Paul texted me that night and he's like, Jill, his wife, Jill wanted me to make sure you're okay. And I said, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. And I guess it was much worse than Paul saw it all go down. And, you know, so, but it's okay. Like, but we kept in touch and I was like, hey, this place is really cool. Like, you should come. He's like, well, I don't know, because it's kind of far. And I'm like, you would love it. And I was like, and Lauren would love the kid program here. And I think she really is enjoying it. You know, it's good for her. I'd love to see a bunch more kids out there, though.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, and I know
Yeah,
Paul
but-
coming over to fellow Deadhead Cabe,
Yeah.
that really helped.
Yeah, it's it. So, yeah, like, so Paul came. I came and then Paul came. Yep. And then my husband is happy that I'm doing it. I like to say it's because I'm not such a bee. So,
Well, yeah, it'll get out a lot of your aggression on the mats, right?
Yeah,
or just
and,
like
like-
frustrations in general.
frustration, angst, fear, like, there's not, I mean, I didn't ever play competitive sports growing up. I didn't work out as an adult at all. Like, so this has been really, like, cool. And, like, the people, too, like, Lyle, I got a shout out to Lyle because during my 6-week challenge, we were doing Lieutenant Dance. And again, it was like, when you're heavy, it's really hard to move. Now, I had lost some weight, so I could move a little, but I was not strong. And it was so hard. And Lyle stayed right next to me, and he's like, come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on. And I think that was the moment where I was just like, I'm never leaving this place. Like, if it's cultivated a person that will, like, be on the mat next to me, encouraging me to the end, you know, I'm going to stay,
Yeah.
you know, and that I can do it. And I had to have lots of baths that first. I would
Epsom salt bath.
I would call my husband. I'd be
Florida.
like, draw me a bath.
Thinking about life
Like, draw me a bath.
in your bath.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, I was black and blue
Oh, yeah.
and, like, muscles were sore.
Yeah, well, that culture takes paying it forward, and we try and do that as much as we can. And, you know,
Yeah.
I like to make a point of any new person as well to
Yeah.
be very encouraging, because we were all there at one point, so it's good to be there.
It is. I think it's super important to welcome people in a, you know, because it can be really scary. And all these emotions come up, you know?
Yeah.
But if you're in a place where you're safe, then it works.
Yeah.
Well, even for, somebody that, like I wrestled my whole life, me walking into a new gym it's not like I'm scared, scared, but it takes a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a little nerve wracking, so even for people that are like not, like a young 20-year-old kid to walk into the gym, like they're feeling a lot of the same things that you are,
Totally.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, and I didn't even know what jiu-jitsu was.
Right.
I had never watched a UFC fight or an MMA fight ever. So I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And my neighbor, her kids were in the place, and she's like, have Forrest come. And so we went over there. It wasn't Forrest's thing, but then I tried it and I liked it, but I didn't end up staying there.
Yeah.
Came to Grey Wolf.
So, are you cooking? You want to get a quick break?
I do.
Yeah.
I already told you I'm the first one to
Yeah,
bail.
I mean,
I'm
my
gonna
lips are
lead
on
that charge.
All right.
My lips are on fire.
Let's get a quick break then. We'll be right back. Maybe get a little cold plunge or just cool off outside.
Could talk to you like.
Do you feel like woozy?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's good. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel very like woozy. Yeah.
I'm not Mr. Science, and I'm gonna lean on Dana to do that research.
I'm gonna do some research on the sauna, cold plunge, and bring a little tidbits, and hopefully I will get it as correct as possible and make sure and talk to some
It
professionals.
feels like
about
really
it.
like.
Yeah.
Good.
No, it's good. Yeah.
It's
I
the
know.
cold
I
that
feel
helps
like
with
I'm
that.
high or something.
Yeah.
But I don't.
A little bit psychedelic, right?
Yeah. Like it's wild.
Well, there is like the body when you get that cold, it kind of puts you into that fight or flight response. It's brief, but there's a little bit of that euphoria from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like no, I feel like woo.
Well, if you're feeling like you're gonna pass out.
No, I don't feel like I'm gonna pass
Okay,
out.
good.
But so like I don't drink or do drugs, so I don't. It feels like I did.
Right. Yeah. Anecdotally, I know it's great for you, but it's a large weakness of mine is like I don't nerd out on anything. I never have, and I know I never will. So like I just kind of like find things that work and lean on other people to do that research and follow that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something magical about saunas that I've always been in love with. I've been sauning my entire life, and
That's so cool.
I will till I die.
So a couple of weeks ago, we were talking to Timoree, and I brought up about the podcast and having you on, and you were shocked. We were like, no, I'm not going to come on. No way. And here we are. So
Yes.
about 4 days ago, we were talking, and you said to me, hey, there's something you guys haven't brought up or talked about on the podcast yet.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, hold on to it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me now. So here's your chance. What was it?
Well, like a therapist recommended that I go.
Okay.
And it is working through all that trauma. And so for me, that has been the best. It's been the best therapy for me as a human to do jiu-jitsu because I've never felt better in my life, like clear in my head. I'm not afraid. Like I have confidence in myself. But the other thing too is, so for me, I'll just speak for myself. I used to disassociate a lot. So when you do jiu-jitsu, you cannot do that. You can, but you'll get hurt. So you have to stay in your body. And so it's like been so good to like connect with my body, connect with my breath and my mind, and like it's just been a real.
So sorry. Walk me through disassociating though.
So it just means like you check out. Like you're no longer like, you're not connected to your breath, you're not connected to your body, you're just kind of like going through the motions, not really feeling anything. Like you're completely disconnected.
Okay.
It's like
From-
like out of body, like
Kind of like-
seeing yourself from a third perspective.
Just like, so you'll go through, so for me, it's like, I know how to do things in life because I've done, like cooking, okay? But so, or driving, and you'll be like, oh, how did I get here? You know, I just,
Oh, okay. You kind of like almost like blacken out. a
yeah,
little
like
bit.
kind of, but for me, like disassociates something so painful. I don't want to feel it, so then I don't feel it. Like I go,
Right.
but in jiu-jitsu, it's so scary, right? Well, it can be for some people. For me, it was very scary in the beginning. But in order to take care of myself, I had to be in my body and connect to my breath and be like, you're in charge. You can stop at any time. Like it's really, and I wasn't in my body for so long.
So you're forced to face it, whatever that is. It's
Whatever
you have
it is.
to. And
Whatever
to
it
the
is.
to the level that you're ready for. You
Right.
can face it until you're ready. Like that's enough. I've had that tap.
Right.
We'll move.
Yeah.
Try a little bit further next time and
Right.
and move forward.
Yeah. And oftentimes, though, I will tap just because I don't want to get hurt and I want to come back.
Sure.
Some people are like, come on, stay. I'll be like, I want to come back tomorrow.
Well, what's the
Right.
best move in jiu-jitsu? It's a tap.
It's the tap. Yeah. It is the tap. I like side control, but
Yeah. No, it's not your favorite, but it's the most important.
it's the most.
Yeah.
It's
That's
for
right,
sure.
yeah.
It's the most important, and yeah, and
Yeah, I think we touched on it a little bit with Billy, and I know maybe we didn't get into it too much, but I know that he and I have talked about previously is using jiu-jitsu as some sort of like a therapy for people. I know he's really invested in just therapies in general and helping people.
I love the avenue he's going down. I listened to the podcast, and I said to him last night, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you, because for me, like when I first started, I was like, we need classes. Like we need a therapist to run jiu-jitsu to help work through trauma for people. That's what I would love to see someday. Is
That'd
like
be cool.
like just specific classes to work through trauma with anybody that wants to, but more geared towards that.
Yeah.
Like a healing.
That's the hard part, because, like, I mean, I feel like you have to come to jiu-jitsu, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too hard to get people to do it. It would be good for everybody to do.
Yeah.
But, it's impossible to almost force somebody to do it. They have to want to do it,
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree. But I think a lot of people like myself, if I hadn't found a place like Grey Wolf, or even had like the knowledge of like, oh, what's happening to me? Why am I crying and uncontrollably? Like I knew it was a trauma response, right? So if I hadn't found a place like Grey Wolf, I would have never come back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So even though I liked it, right? It was kind of like, I like it, but this is I'm feeling yucky, so maybe I don't want to do it anymore. So I think if it was just like, I would love to see that lane discovered more. And I think Billy is going to lead the way for all of us on that, for all the people that need it.
No, he's amazing.
He's such a cool person. I know when he said his age, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally old enough to be his mother.
I know. I was amazed. Like, I didn't know he was that young. I was like, dude, you feel like a father figure, He's just like...
Yeah. And I mean, it's been fun too, like with jiu-jitsu, like, because people think I'm much younger than 52. So, which is
that's
nice.
great.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu helps it.
Yeah, it does, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe my body, how it is now.
Yeah. Well, and it just goes to show, so many people are just saying, well, I'm getting old now and I can't move this way or that way or whatever. It's like, well, you can. It's not that you can't, it's that you won't do the work to get to that point, to mobility or stretching or exercise, whatever that happens to be. It takes work to get to that point, and anybody can, and that's how you live a long life.
Yeah.
And I know on Monday night, like, after class, I was like, I do a lot of self-talk. I was like, good job. You did this stuff, like, you're 52 and you did everything that all the other kids did that are like, average age is what, 30 something? I was like, good job.
Yeah.
Because, because it's hard. The warm-ups are hard. I'm so appreciative for the warm-ups. Lieutenant Dan's are now my favorite.
For those of you who don't know, Lieutenant Dan, I'm going to try and describe this the best I can. So you'll basically, as if you have no legs below the knees, so you have to drag yourself across the mat. So you basically reach out with both arms, slap the mat in front of you, and put both palms down and drag yourself forward, keeping your legs bent as if you don't have legs below the knees. They're very challenging. It's an ab workout, to say the least.
Yeah, and it's not an army crawl. It is a drag.
That's right. No army crawls.
No army
You
crawls.
can't
It
be
is a
cheating.
dragon. And sidewinders are interesting too. So like I had to look it up on YouTube. And like I would practice at home before I would come to class because I was like, how do I do this? And I could only do it like one way. And then but now I can do it both ways, but it took me over a year.
Yeah.
But I was like, it just takes time
Yeah.
and like the will to want to learn and get better. And
Yeah.
but yeah, like this 2024 was an interesting year, and it was rough for me. A lot of stuff went down, and but people from jiu-jitsu hit me up and were like, what are you doing?
Where you at?
Where are you at? What are you doing?
That's
And
right.
also too, like when I went through surgery last February, being able to just come, even though I wasn't able to be on the mats,
Sure.
and to then when I did go back on the mats, people were very gentle.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I'll say that too real quick as a shout out. Like when people are hurt or they're sick or maybe not sick, but hurt for sure, and they come in and watch, it's still cool, so awesome to have them in class. And just like chilling on the couch watching class. Like I love that. So that's a good idea for people to do if they just want to come and watch their buds do some jiu-jitsu.
Well, and and that's another reason why I meet with Russ, because it takes me like a really long time to learn something.
Sure.
Because I don't understand. Like, we've been working on something for months, and I was like, I couldn't do it in class. Let's go over it again.
Sure.
And just drill.
Right.
So.
What did you work on today with Russ?
A lasso into a sweep.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, but when when the person is standing or sitting.
Okay.
So, because I was doing the lasso on Monday, but then I just froze. I was like, now what?
Yeah, that stuff's tricky.
It is, and you're like super strong and can throw people.
Yeah, but like that stuff I'm still really bad at. Like all like the from the guard, like all those.
And it doesn't
stuff. I just haven't dove into them super
Really?
deeply yet.
Well, I've taken your wrestling class a couple times. And I was like, I don't know, I just can't. Like, it's so hard.
Wrestling's. It's just kind of like no-gi. It's just it's a lot of quick motions.
Yes.
And that's what I love about jiu-jitsu for me right now. Like I don't miss that part of wrestling because it bangs you up.
Yeah.
It's just there's no way around it. Like moving like that, it's not great for your body. So I fully understand people that want to kind of keep some of that stuff at arm's length and just focus on the jiu-jitsu stuff, because I mean you don't need to be a world-class wrestler to be great at jiu-jitsu.
That gator roll's so cool though.
Yeah, some of that stuff, and I definitely have been tailoring the classes and like dialing back some of like the as I learn more about jiu-jitsu, just kind of throwing away some of the stuff that we just don't need,
Right.
to be good at jiu-jitsu. Although Charlie, shout out to Charlie, he was in this Sunday. That guy's got a wicked double leg, so
Oh,
those
really?
10 a.m. boys better start watching out. Yeah, so
I don't think I know Charlie.
You don't know Charlie? Oh man.
Wait,
Charlie's pretty young.
Six-
Big dude.
wait,
6'8".
Is he a fireman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do know Charlie.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'd know
Pretty young,
Charlie.
like 24
Yeah,
or something like
I
that.
talked to him, and he's a fireman out in Sun City.
Oh, is it something?
Again,
Okay.
Yeah.
sorry for the West Side.
Yeah, super nice kid.
Yeah.
And I can
he's-
say
yeah,
kid because I'm old enough to be your mother.
that's right, kid.
Yeah.
I'm sure he won't take offense.
So,
But yeah, well, boom.
This
pretty,
is great.
I'm pretty cooked. So,
I'm cooked.
Got any last words? Want to shout out anything?
I just want to say, like, you can do it. Believe in yourself, and it's also okay to say no to people that you feel uncomfortable around.
Sure.
But like for me, I just tell myself, just don't quit.
Yeah.
Because if you don't quit, you don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what's on the other side when I don't quit.
Absolutely.
Attrition, baby. It's one of the best things my dad ever told me was like, people are gonna quit. Just wait for them to give up. Like, you know, in the long journey of wrestling or jiu-jitsu or whatever you're doing, like people are gonna give up, and if you keep with it, you're gonna get better, and you'll be there when they're not. You know?
Yeah. Well, and I've already seen some people like quit, and it's like, wow, they really do.
Some people are surprised you're quit. You're like, he quit? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
It
Well, before we go, what are your goals for any competing again? What are we looking at?
Yes, so I have signed up for Jiu-Jitsu World League in February. No,
March 2nd?
March 2nd.
Okay.
However, if there isn't anyone in Master 3, I'm not going to go down to Master 2.
Okay.
So, but
Limited to Master 3.
yeah, but yeah, I just have a personal goal of competing one calendar year. It helps me keep in shape and focused, especially learning like the techniques and details of jiu-jitsu. That's important.
Sure. Well,
So.
and you're a 4-stripe white belt, so you'll be blue soon enough. So that'll be another exciting level.
Yeah.
I got one more thing before we go. It's a personal thank you. So the first tournament I ever walked into, again, and this goes to our gym, just like the culture, like the great atmosphere we have. But like I showed up and I had my daughter, and you know the chaos of tournaments, and like I don't know, my brother was running late. That's what it was. Yeah, he was supposed to come and kind of like grab my daughter Cora and like watch her while I was competing, and he showed up at the wire, so I just hand them off to you, and I barely know you, right? But it's just like she's having a great time with you, so thank you for watching her.
You're very welcome.
Letting me get out there and scrap with some of those boys.
We had fun watching you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that was super fun. I'll always remember that tournament and you taking her under your wing for a couple or an hour or so.
It was my pleasure. And then when your brother came up and he was behind me talking, I was like, got so confused. I didn't know you were a twin.
Oh, I'm not a twin.
You're not a twin?
No, I'm not a
but
twin,
like
no.
he sounds you guys sound exactly the same.
we sound similar. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Luke's got a lot more hair though.
Oh.
my bald, beautiful. He's
I really thought it was you behind me, and I was like, wait a second, it's not. So.
Yeah, we're
Your
lucky.
kids are
We're
awesome.
lucky that guy never got into jiu-jitsu. My older brother. Yeah, fortunately, he's a football basketball guy.
Okay.
A softie, but he would be a savage if he ever
Yeah.
picked up jiu-jitsu because he's an athletic boy.
For sure.
But yeah.
Well, thank you for choosing your hard today and coming and join us on the
yes.
podcast. We
That's
appreciate
right.
it.
That's right. It's. I love choosing jiu-jitsu even when it's hard.
Absolutely.
right.
Especially.
Yeah.
Boom. All right. Well, that's another episode. Thanks everybody for listening, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
I did so good. In the
Yeah,
sauna.
you crushed it. It's
Like,
210
in the-
right